Many couples have now spent months together at home due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And for some, it's starting to feel like the walls are closing in.
Monica, is putting a strain on some marriages, leading to some nasty divorces. Fox 2's Taryn is here now with the viral breakups. Taryn.
Yeah, you know, in the beginning, couples were scared. They didn't know what to do. But after being locked down for 3 months now, many have reached their breaking point, and it's not pretty.
It's the level of animosity, it's the hatred, the bitterness, the sheer violence that I've seen, especially in front of the children. That's what, to me, is most disturbing.
Attorney Sabrina Shaheen Cronin, whose firm specializes in divorce and family law, says it started with fear. Worried about coronavirus exposure, people were withholding children from the other parent. The state forced to step in.
There were specific orders that came down from the state that said you have to follow the strict guidelines of your parenting time schedule, as if the coronavirus didn't even exist, because so many people weren't doing it out of fear or control or both.
But as time went on, that fear turned into anger. Cronin says over the last 6 weeks, she has seen a spike in the messiest and most high conflict divorces she's ever handled.
I have seen such an increase in domestic issues, whether it's divorce, whether it's violence. I've seen a lot of assaultive cases. Unfortunately, when people are, their backs are pushed against the wall, they just react, and, emotions are flaring, not only because of the stress, but because when you're stuck in a home together, and you don't have a very good relationship to begin with, you can't escape to work.
The down economy also leading to money manipulation by spouses who are trying not to pay as much to their ex. Courts were forced to prioritize cases virtually with the stay-at-home order. But now that things are slowly starting to reopen, Cronin says broken couples aren't putting it off any longer.
It's so much better to be reasonable, try not to react with emotion, try to, be more thoughtful and reasonable in your approach, especially when there's children involved.
Good advice there, and Cronin also passes this along. She says if it's getting tough to be stuck at home right now, try to actually physically separate yourself from that person as much as possible. Of course, if you fear for your safety, be sure to call police. And if you are looking to file for divorce, don't wait. Call a seasoned lawyer that has some compassion, that you feel free and asking a lot of questions too. You can, the courts are still accepting cases right now. It's just going to take a little bit longer to process because of the coronavirus. Monica?
Well, Taryn, we know that stress can bring out the worst in people. What if you can't file just yet?
Well, Cronin says, there are things that you can do. You can keep notes, or you can start journaling about what your spouse is doing. Keep track of it, especially if a child is involved. That's very critical. It is tough, she says, for the court to refute any sort of journaling. So just make sure, you're keeping track of everything.
Yeah, we know it can be a very volatile time for families with all of this going on. Thanks, Taryn.
That's for sure.